What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WrestleRant Ranks. Graham G.S. and Matthews here, where every single Monday I do tier lists and power rankings. Today we're going to be doing a tier list of every AEW pay-per-view main event dating back to the company's inception in 2019. Now, there's been apparently 38 different pay-per-view main events dating back to May of 2019, Double or Nothing 2019. This goes all the way through Double or Nothing 2025. So, thankfully, well, first of all, shout out to the person that put together this tier list. That would be Chai Buzzle or something like that. You could follow them there. Chai by Buizel on Twitter. They put together this tier list, and it said it was updated just a couple of weeks ago, actually, just mere days ago, here on tierlistmaker.com. So I'll include the link to the tier list if you want to complete it for yourself in the description box if you want to follow along and do it with me. Obviously not live. But yeah, so we won't spend an innate amount of time like this, just an excessive amount of time on every single pay-per-view main event because there's just so many of them. So I'll try to keep my talking to a minimum. But you look at these graphics, and honestly, like, some of these matches are honestly, like, at the time, for example, we'll go through them in a moment, but like Jon Moxley, Joey Janela, a match like that probably at the time may have been like a 4-star Fyter Fest main event in 2019. For me, it doesn't exactly hold up to the rest of these pay-per-view main events. You can't put every AEW pay-per-view main event in the 5-star category, in the 4-star category. Some are going to have to go towards the bottom, and there are some pretty garbage ones, especially from the last couple of months alone, and I'm not talking Hangman and Ospreay from Double or Nothing a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, this is a pretty, quite the ordeal that we're going to go, undertake here, so we'll get right into it in a moment, but if you want to check out other installments of WrestleRant Ranks, you could do so in the description box down below. Every episode we've done so far here in 2025 available for you to check out, so please do that, including the link to this tier list, like I said, if you want to fill it out for yourself. And also, please consider signing up for a WrestleRant All-Access Pass channel membership. $5 a month gets you videos like this, early and ad-free, badges and emojis and live chats, and so much more. So please consider signing up for that as well by clicking the join button on the video or on the channel or in the description box down below. So let's get right into this now. Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega from Double or Nothing 2019. And the person that put together this list did it in a way where it's broken down not by like S, A, B, C, D, which honestly is the equivalent of these star ratings in my opinion anyway. It's 1 star, 2 star, 3 stars, 4 star, 5 stars. 5 stars to me is like the perfect match. Jericho and Omega was very good. Even their first match, I think, I'm not going off the Dave Meltzer scale, by the way, because if we did, all of these matches would be in the top 2 categories. I'm going off of my scale and also retrospectively how it kind of measures up to the other AEW pay-per-view main events. And I'll probably also change my mind along the way with like, this was more of a 3 than a 2 or more of a 4 than a 5 and so on and so forth. But Jericho and Omega was a very good main event, not quite as good as their Wrestle Kingdom match from the year or two prior. I think that would have been at Wrestle Kingdom 2018. So this was a little over a year later. Jericho winning this match, going on to become the inaugural AEW women's champion. AEW, I don't know. Maybe I'm just misremembering. The inaugural AEW world champion later on in 2019. This was a 3-star match. It was a very good match. I was there for that match. It was not as good as Cody and Dustin from earlier in the evening or even the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks, but it was a quality main event. Jon Moxley and Joey Janela, I mentioned this before. I'm going to give this 2. We've just seen so many matches that are way better than this. I know for the time it was like not revolutionary, but like it was cool because it was Jon Moxley's AEW in-ring debut. It was such a different Jon Moxley than what we had seen from him in WWE as Dean Ambrose. They had a hardcore war. I think that was the unsanctioned match, right? No, it just says here like where it was. But I thought that was or maybe they had an unsanctioned match many months later. But regardless, a nice hardcore brawl. But Jon Moxley would go on to have way better pay-per-view main events and just way better matches in general. So I'm going to give that 2 stars. Really doesn't have any replay value to me. A pay-per-view main event with Joey Janela, even though it wasn't really a pay-per-view, it was more like a live special, I think, for free on BR Live. More of a 2-star match to me. Then we go on to, I think, Fight for the Fallen, also in 2019, another live special main event for free. The Young Bucks versus Cody Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes. I don't really remember much about the match, aside from the fact, none of these matches really had any build-up, because there was no Dynamite at that point. They were just building them up on Being the Elite and whatnot before Dynamite got started later that year. This was a good match. I'm going to put it below Jericho and Omega because that one had more historical significance. A lot of people forget about this one. Probably a more underrated pay-per-view, quote-unquote, main event for AEW, but I don't know. I mean, there were other matches I enjoyed way more. So for now, I'll put it at the bottom of the 3 stars. Jericho and Adam Page was also a very good match from All Out 2019. I don't see people go back and saying that this was an all-time classic by any means. This will probably also go in the 3-star category for me. Let's see. Was it better or worse than Jericho and Omega? I'll probably go weaker because I feel like Jericho and Omega had the better match, but I don't really remember. I remember Jericho winning and that being the right outcome. I remember that because Adam Page at that point wasn't really ready, needed a fully fleshed character, and he didn't really have that at that point. And him winning it years later meant a lot more than it would have here. So I'll put that in the middle of 3. I might retrospectively change that when we go back later. Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega from Full Gear 2019 was an excellent match. Now, this is an example of an unsanctioned hardcore match where AEW has done so many of them that so many of them have just blended together in the last number of years. But this one really stood out to me, really put Jon Moxley on the map even more in AEW, kind of catapulted him towards the AEW World Championship. Really reminded me of the Omega of old because we hadn't seen that Omega since he first stepped foot in AEW months earlier. I mean, again, we got that really good match with Jericho, but this I thought was even better. This was like a hardcore war that I really remember, resonated with me personally as someone who doesn't really love the hardcore bullshit. I thought this was a really, really good match and a big win for Jon Moxley. This was an unsanctioned match. That's going in the 4-star category for me. And again, some of these matches you could argue, oh, that's a 4-star match. I'm just saying there's a lot of other matches still to come here, and I'll kind of race through some of them so we don't have this video be an hour long. Some of these matches are just way better than these. I mean, honestly, like these are nothing compared to a lot of the matches that are going to be coming up here momentarily. Anyway, Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley versus Chris Jericho from Revolution. This was another 4-star match to me. I thought the match was really good. They told a great story going in with Jon Moxley's eye being injured and Jericho trying to recruit Moxley into the inner circle. Moxley, denying that request, going off on his own to seize the AEW World Championship from Jericho on that show and kicking off his lengthy historic run as the AEW World Champion going into the pandemic period for AEW. A great main event and also hot entrances too, specifically for Jericho when they had like the chorusing him out to the ring. That was a really good match, really good show. And a great title change to close out that event as well in Chicago. Then we get to Double or Nothing 2020 Stadium Stampede. That was like the Elite and Matt Hardy versus the Inner Circle. This was fun. Not really an all-timer to me. Yeah, I don't know if I would go 4 stars. I mean, it was a really fun match. Honestly, none of the Anarchy bullshit. Like, for me, a lot of those matches don't really... I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to say because I'm not really a big fan of that sort of stuff. This wasn't really hardcore as much as it was just them using the cinematic approach, like WWE did with WrestleMania. And they were also fighting on the football field and doing, wacky shit like that. I'll probably put it below Jericho and Omega because it's not a match I'd probably go back and watch willingly, but it was a really fun match for what it was. Moxley and MJF from All Out 2020 for the AEW World Championship was another 3-star match to me. I'm probably not fairly rating these matches. I might have to bump some up. I just don't remember this match being great, and I was very disappointed that Moxley won clean and that was it for MJF. I don't think I expected him to win the championship that night, but I was just kind of disappointed with how the match went. It wasn't like the show stealer of a match that really saved the show for me. The overall show was kind of a fucking mess. That was one of the few AEW pay-per-views that I thought was a miss, at least for me. So I'll put it in the middle here, below. I'll put it below all of those matches, actually. I didn't love that match. I thought they had better matches down the road. Moxley and Eddie Kingston from Full Gear. I think this was an I Quit match according to the graphic. I forgot the stipulation. But a very good match for the AEW World Championship. Eddie Kingston was a constant challenger for the championship in the latter half of 2020 for whatever reason. But they had such great chemistry, and I really enjoyed the matches they had together and also the promos they had. I thought these two worked really, really well together. I'll put this at the bottom of 4, although you could probably make the argument it's at top of 3. Maybe I'll switch these two. I'll put Jericho and Omega about at bottom of 4, Moxley and Kingston. I just haven't seen some of these matches in such a long time. so it's hard to say. Moxley and Jericho, the barbed wire death match, did not love this. One of the weaker main events that AEW has had. Not terrible, but that ending sucked. The match itself kind of paled in comparison to other matches that both guys have had in AEW. That was a 2-star match for me with a terrible show closing angle with Eddie Kingston jumping on Omega, or was it Moxley actually, trying to save him from the fire, and there was really no theatrics. It was kind of a dud. Stadium Stampede, Double or Nothing 2021, The Pinnacle versus Inner Circle. I think I like this more than the Stadium Stampede from 2020. This was more focused. You know, the first one kind of had that appeal of being AEW's first real cinematic match, I believe. But I think this match was just a better match. And this was also in the era of when AEW just had much better matches, period, for their pay-per-views. So I'll probably go top of 3 again, and not a match I'd really go out of my way to watch again. But I'll go top of 3 for that. It was a better Stadium Stampede match from what I can recall than that one, and a good win for Inner Circle, who are now baby faces. Jericho and Omega and Christian Cage from All Out 2021 for the AEW World Championship. I think this is an underrated match. You could probably make the argument it's a top 3 match, a top 3-star match. But you know what? I'm biased. I think Christian's awesome. They had an excellent match. It was immediately overshadowed by the debuts of Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole in AEW. But this was still an awesome match. It was so cool to see Christian in a pay-per-view main event. I think for not the last time, he would go and have a pay-per-view main event with Darby Allin somewhere here. Yeah, there it is. Wrestle Dream from 2023. But I thought this match was awesome. Christian wasn't winning the championship, but I thought as a match it was excellent. I think I enjoyed their match on Rampage more, the first Rampage for the TNA World Championship, but this was still an excellent match. I'll put it above Jericho and Omega, but below Moxley and Jericho, which felt like a bigger deal on paper from Revolution 2020. Omega and Adam Page, I want to give this 5 stars. Something about it felt a little off. It's definitely top 4-star for sure. I want to go 5-star, but again, I just know as we approach the end of this list, there are way better matches than this one. And that is weird to say, but AEW has had so many, not even just better matches, but better main events in their pay-per-views history in the last 6 years. Adam Page winning was an amazing story. The build-up was largely excellent. The match itself was excellent. The execution of the finish was excellent. A lot of this was great. I really wanted Adam Page to be the one to finally kick out of the One-Winged Angel. That did not happen. I think that has yet to happen in AEW, actually. It did not happen there. But still, an excellent match. And it's weird that such a great match has actually been eclipsed by so many others in AEW's history that I wouldn't even include it in like the Mount Rushmore of AEW's best matches. But it's in the conversation, so I'll put it top of 4 stars. So I know you're thinking, oh man, how are there no 5 stars yet? Because we're going to get there. I just know from the matches that we have seen, some bad, some amazing, from the last year alone, that belong in that 5-star category. So we're getting there. Adam Cole and Adam Page from Revolution 2020. Another 4-star match. I thought they had a great match. This was Adam Page's, one of his first real, and it wasn't his first championship defense because he had a whole series of matches with Bryan Danielson on TV that were awesome. This whole period was like AEW's peak. But I thought they had a great match, and the title wasn't really all that much in jeopardy because Adam Page had just won the title a couple of months earlier, but I still thought they had a great match. So I'll put it below Omega and Christian, but above Jericho and Omega. So I'll put it right there in the middle of the 4-star category. Punk and Adam Page, I really wanted to love this match. I thought they had a very good match. Punk winning, I thought, was the right outcome. Obviously, it triggered this whole, even before that match, I mean, the whole build to that match kind of set AEW into a downward spiral for the next several years. Not even a few years, but like at least that few month period following the promo exchange between the two, Punk crashing out, so to speak, and all that other sort of shit. The company, it took a long time for them to kind of crawl out of that hole they had put themselves in. But anyway, the match itself I thought was very good. I'm going to put a top of 3, but it wasn't like quite as great as I thought it would be. I feel like it was a little sloppy, or they just weren't exactly on the same page. Maybe it was because of the tension they had in real life. I'm not sure. But yeah, the match was fine. Forbidden Door 2022. I forgot this match even happened at Forbidden Door. Moxley and Tanahashi for the AEW World Championship. Tanahashi has not been the same in the last few years. I know he's on his way out of the ring anyway, as far as his in-ring active career. And this was a very good match, but it certainly was not as great as some of these other matches. So I'll definitely put it in the 3 category. I'll put it at bottom of 3. I mean, I just did not love this match, I don't think. It was immediately eclipsed by Omega and Orange Cassidy. I just thought there were better matches on this show. And I don't know, it kind of ended the show on a flat note for me, even with Jon Moxley winning and to become the new interim AEW World Champion. I'll probably put it there. Yeah, I'll probably put it there. It might be better than the MJF match. I'll probably put it there, but I don't know. I didn't love that match. Moxley and Punk from All Out for the AEW World Championship. They ran it back after Moxley squashed Punk on Dynamite to get the belt back or to become the undisputed champion. Punk beat Moxley here to get the belt back. It was just a stupid fucking story. The match was much better than their Dynamite match, which was a glorified squash, of course. But was it as great as some of these other matches? It was really good. I'll put it at bottom of 4. I like this match. This was not Punk's final match in AEW. I obviously came back for one more run in 2023, and then that was it before he got fired, quit, what have you. But the match itself was great, though. I'll probably put it above Omega and Jericho. I thought they just had a great match. But I don't know. The whole story kind of killed it for me. It just wasn't great. Moxley and MJF was another excellent match. That was definitely 4-star. I'll put that above these. That was also where William Regal turned on Moxley and cost him the AEW World Championship and kind of awarded it to MJF, which was a great finish. So I'll put that one here. I thought those two had an excellent match. MJF and Bryan Danielson might be the first, to me, 5-star pay-per-view main event for AEW. That was an Iron Man match. If not, it was one of the best matches in company history. But to me, it's also the best Iron Man match I've ever seen. That was from Revolution 2023. That match was fantastic. So that's going to the top of the 5-star category here. Just an amazing match. So definitely putting that in 5. We'll have other 5s, I promise you. Then we get to Double or Nothing. This was Anarchy in the Arena from Double or Nothing 2023. I mean, this was better than the Stadium Stampedes. I still don't love Anarchy in the Arena. I just think it's just not an amazing match. I'll put it in the 4-star category, though. A lot of people really, really like this one. I'll probably put it here. I'll put it below Moxley and Omega from Full Gear 2020 or 2019, but above Moxley and Jericho from Revolution 2020. And that's mostly because people just really like that match. I do not like Anarchy in the Arena. The match is not my favorite, but a lot of people love it, so I'll put it there. Danielson and Okada was great. Honestly, they had better matches than this one, but this was still a great main event at Forbidden Door 2023. I'll probably put it below Anarchy. I'll put it there. I'll put it below Moxley and Jericho, but above Moxley and MJF. They had an excellent match, but it just wasn't as great as I think a lot of people thought it would be. In the Wrestle Kingdom match, I thought was better. MJF and Adam Cole, a lot of people look back on this one thinking, the sports entertainment nonsense gives it no replay value, blah, blah, blah. The story was awesome, and it kind of got, obviously, derailed along the way with the injuries to both men. And they did properly finish the feud last year, but it didn't have the same spark. A lot of people did not give a fuck. The match itself was really good. I thought they had a very good main event. I'll probably put it at the bottom of the 4-star category. I'll probably put it below 4, at the bottom 4. Like, I could see even people putting it in 3. It was a great match. I think we had higher hopes than what happened. Some shenanigans and some bullshit down the road or down the stretch. But I think it was a bigger deal in the moment than it is watching it back. And I do think last year's All-In main event was better, which we'll get to momentarily. Anyway, Orange Cassidy and Moxley was honestly a fucking awesome match. I might honestly end up bumping this up to 5. That match was great. That was for the International Championship. Yes, the International Championship actually headlined a pay-per-view in 2023. And this show was put together on maybe a week or two notice from AEW with almost no fucking build. But they went in there and had this just incredible match. And Moxley ended Orange Cassidy's near year-long run as International Champion. I actually really, really enjoyed that match. I did not like their match from last year quite as much from Full Gear that we'll get to. But this match, I think, might have even been... I don't know if it was better than Omega Page. I won't put it above Omega Page because that match and that story was just so great. But I'll put it second to that because I thought this match was near perfect from Cassidy and Moxley last year. I really, really liked that match. Christian and Darby Allin was another great one, a 2 out of 3 falls match for the AEW TNT Championship. Again, another pay-per-view being headlined with a secondary title. This was another 4-star match. I thought these two worked really, really well together. Obviously overshadowed by Adam Copeland debuting immediately afterward. So let's see. I'll put it below. Let's see. I'll probably put it there. Maybe above Paige and Adam Cole. I thought Christian retaining was cool. I like that too, and I really like the match. So yeah, I don't know. I like the match. I'll put it in the lower 4-star, but a very good match. I might end up bumping that though to something else, but we'll see. MJF and Jay White in Full Gear. I did not love this match. A lot of shenanigans, a lot of bullshit. Jay White was made to look weak. I thought they had a good match. Looking back on it, I did not like this all that much. I'll probably put it, might be a bit harsh, but I'll put it like low 4 to be honest. I just did not like this match. Maybe the in-ring work is probably better than Moxley and Tanahashi, but I'll put it low 3-star. MJF and Samoa Joe, I was there for that one at World's End 2023 AEW World Championship. That's where Joe won the belt. The match was good. It was not like excellent. Joe winning kind of felt anticlimactic because I think it happened clean and people just weren't expecting it. And then all people ever really remember from that show is the debut of the Undisputed Kingdom with Adam Cole revealing himself as the attacker for MJF, which was awesome. The issue was that the fallout and the aftermath sucked because Adam Cole was still hurt and the group itself was not booked well at all. And the whole thing sucked. So, with that being said, that would probably be a 3-star match as well. We have almost no 2-stars, but I might have to bump some matches down a little bit. I like this one more than Punk and Page. I'll put it below that. I don't know. The match was good. I think they had a better match at Grand Slam a couple of months earlier. I don't know. I'll probably put it there. I'll put it below the second Stadium Stampede, but above Moxley and Kingston. The Revolution main event with Sting and Darby versus the Bucks, you can shit on me for this one. This is a 5-star match. This was the perfect retirement match for Sting. As a match, from an in-ring standpoint, it might not be 5 stars the same way that Moxley or, Danielson versus MJF is from Revolution 2020. Or 2023. This is 2024. But it was Sting's final match. The circumstances and the build and the execution of everything involving this match, around this match, surrounding this match was just so great. And Sting winning was just crazy. And this is coming from someone who's really soured on the Bucks in recent years. I really don't like a lot of their recent work. I just don't really give a shit at this point. But I thought this match was awesome. And Sting going out on top was amazing. It was a perfect farewell, a perfect send-off for the Stinger. And to me, that's the bottom of 5. So not like an instant classic by any means, but a great show and a phenomenal way to send off one of the greatest of all time. Joe and Swerve was a great main event from Dynasty. That was where Swerve won the championship from Joe, was at Dynasty, becoming the first, African-American world champion in AEW's history. So I'm going to put them in 4. Where in 4? I thought this was a great match. Better than Christian and Darby. Better than Omega Christian. Better than Moxley MJF. Better than Danielson and Okada. Better than Moxley and Jericho. Better than Anarchy. I don't know if it's better than Anarchy. I'll probably put it there. I feel like people really, really love that first Anarchy in the arena match. Post Stadium Stampede. So I'll put it there. I thought Joe and Swerve had an excellent match for that championship, and it was a great moment to close that show with. Another Anarchy in the arena. I did not love this. I thought this was honestly just garbage. It went on for way too long. I'm going to be selfish here and put this in the 2-star category. Did not like this. I'll put it at top of 2. Did not like this match. It just kind of felt like it went on forever, and even Anarchy in the arena this year was arguably better than that. I mean, people are going to put this in the 4-star category and call it great. I thought this one was better. This one just kind of felt thrown together. The whole Elite storyline was fucking garbage. This was where Darby lit himself on fire, I think. Eddie Kingston got hurt soon after. Yeah, I don't know. We need some more 2-stars, so I'm going to pad it out with that match. I just did not like that match at all. Swerve and Ospreay is a 5-star match. That's going to go there. I thought that match was amazing. Swerve and Danielson is honestly also 5 stars. That's going to go there. It might be the best pay-per-view match, and honestly, the best pay-per-view main event in AEW history. Like the stretch of matches that Swerve was having between the Danielson match, the Strickland match, and then this Page match, these are all 5-star. Like 3 consecutive pay-per-view main events that were all 5-star to me. Swerve and Page I'll put here. It really comes down to the order of these. I'll probably put, honestly, Swerve and Danielson to the top. That might be the best pay-per-view main event that AEW's ever done. It might be Swerve and Ospreay, and that match was incredible. A lot of people are going to say Danielson MJF. It might be that match, but I just think the moment of Danielson winning the championship and it being his last shot, the final countdown and everything else, just amazing. So, you know what? I'll probably go that match at top of 5. I don't know if any of those matches really touch that one specifically. Danielson and Moxley from WrestleDream, did not love this match. I'll put it at the top of 2. Second, I don't know. That was the beginning of the whole Death Rider storyline, and that whole storyline sucked. So they've had better, it was a good match, but I don't know. It was just hard for me to care personally. They've had better matches than that one. Moxley and Cassidy was good, but again, just not great. I'll put that one there. A lot of the Moxley title reign matches from the last year are just 1 star. The 4-way was good. I thought this was a good 4-way. I'll put that probably here. Yeah, I'll probably put the 4-way there. That's Moxley, Page, Cassidy, and Jay White from World's End last year. Moxley and Copeland from Revolution this year, 1 star. That match was fucking garbage. Moxley and Swerve is marginally better. So those are both the 1-star category. I know we don't have a lot of 1 stars, but I'll put those there. And then we arrive at Ospreay and Adam Page from Double or Nothing this year. Again, this is another 5-star match. I thought this match was awesome. I like this more than Page and Strickland last year. I don't know if I liked it more than Swerve and Ospreay. I don't know. This one's tough. It's either here or here. I might go here. I might go with that. I might go Ospreay and Hangman, top 3. All right. I mean, these are interchangeable, really, but a lot of these matches are interchangeable, but that's my definitive list. And that's subject to change, but here's what I got. We'll run through it one more time. Let's see what we got here. With my definitive list of AEW pay-per-view main events dating back to Double or Nothing 2019 all the way through Double or Nothing 2025. 1-star category, Mox and Copeland, Revolution 24 or 25. Dynasty 25, Moxley and Swerve. Those are both the worst pay-per-view main events, in AEW history. 2 stars, Moxley and Janela from Fyter Fest 2019. Omega and Moxley from Revolution 2020. Moxley and Cassidy, Full Gear 2024. Moxley and Danielson from WrestleDream 24. Anarchy in the Arena from Double or Nothing 24. 24 at some of the best pay-per-view main events and some of the weaker main events. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, 3-star category from the bottom all the way up. Moxley MJF from All Out 2020. Moxley Tanahashi Forbidden Door 2022. MJF and Jay White Full Gear 2023. The Young Bucks versus Cody and Dustin, the Rhodes Brothers at Fyter Fest? Or would that have been... Yeah, that was Fyter Fest 2019. Moxley, Page, Cassidy, Jay White, World's End 2024. Adam Page and Jericho from All Out 2019. The first ever Stadium Stampede at Double or Nothing 2020. Moxley and Eddie Kingston for the AEW World Championship I Quit match, Full Gear 2020. MJF and Samoa Joe for the world title at World's End 2023. I think that's the second Stadium Stampede match from Double or Nothing 2021. Page and Punk, Double or Nothing 2022. MJF and Adam Cole, All In 2023. Jericho and Omega, Double or Nothing 2019, first ever pay-per-view main event of the company. Moxley and Punk from All Out 2022. Page and Adam Cole from Revolution 2022 as well. This is the 4-star category, by the way. Christian and Darby Allin from WrestleDream 2023, 203 falls for the TNT title. Omega and Christian All Out 2021 for the world title, for the AEW world title. Moxley and MJF from Full Gear 2020 for the AEW World title. Moxley and Okada, or Danielson and Okada, rather, from Forbidden Door 2023. Moxley and Chris Jericho from Revolution 2020. Joe and Swerve from Dynasty 2024. That is the second or first Anarchy in the Arena from Double or Nothing 2022. I still don't love that match. I would put that lower, but people tend to love it. So, I mean, people like the other ones, but, I'll give you this one. I will not give you the other ones. The one from last year was, in my opinion, trash. I know people really like it, but that one's going lower. This one's going higher. Probably a pretty, drastic change here, but I don't give a fuck. Moxley and Kenny Omega from Full Gear 2019. Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley from All Out 2023. I believe, yeah, All Out 2023. Omega and Adam Page from Full Gear 2021. Now the 5-star match category. There are 6 matches here. A lot of them are recent. But these are the top 6 in this order. Best matches in AEW pay-per-view history so far. Sting and Darby versus the Young Bucks from Revolution. This was Sting's farewell, Revolution 2024. Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. I think this was an all-out 2024 Steel Cage Unsanctioned match. Forbidden Door 2024. No need to rhyme there. Swerve and Ospreay for the AEW World Championship. Forbidden Door 2024. Double or Nothing 2025. Ospreay and Adam Page in the finals of the Men's Owen Hart Cup. Revolution 2023. An Iron Man match. I think AEW's only Iron Man match so far, if I'm not mistaken. MJF and Bryan Danielson. And then last but not least, Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson at All In 2024 for the AEW World Championship. You know what? I'm going to change this. I think MJF and Danielson, they just had a tougher task of it being an hour-long match. I'm going to switch them. Not that it really matters all that much. I'm going to put this the top of the category. And honestly, not a bad spot for even that match to be. So that one's the top one for me, second best, and so on. So that is my list of AEW's pay-per-view matches. A pretty extensive list. I apologize for the long video, but one of these videos ever short. We got to take our time discussing these matches. There's a lot of matches to choose from. This was a lot of fun to do. We don't do a whole lot of AEW, tier lists here on the show, so I figured I would switch it up and do that here today, coming off a Double or Nothing from a few weeks ago. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video. All that support is greatly appreciated. Like I mentioned earlier, please consider signing up for a WrestleRant All Access Pass. $5 a month gets you a whole bunch of perks. Check those out in the description box down below. Speaking of the description box, more videos and installments of this very series, WrestleRant Ranks, available down there. Check those out if you haven't already. And with all that being said, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, at the very least, be sure to like the video and subscribe. Hit the bell button to be notified every single time a new video goes up here on the channel. Have an awesome one, folks. I'm DiGiacomo, and I'll catch your ass down the road.